Hello YouTube, this is Rhino Dan. So let's talk about engine break-in. I know it's not my favorite thing to do on a new motorcycle because you gotta baby it somewhat and keep the RPMs varied, and you don't want to go too high and you don't want to go to redline. But here are how I break in various motorcycles I've owned over the years. This is my Lowrider S. It's a Harley Davidson. It has a lower redline and it's more of a tractor engine. So I try to keep the RPMs varied, no more than 3,000 RPMs. A parking lot doing drills, countersteering drills, start and stops is a great way to break in an engine. I know people want to jump on the freeway and cruise, but the problem with freeway riding is that you're just constantly at the same RPM. You want to vary your RPMs as much as possible when you're breaking a new motor. It's a must. And the reason being is you want that engine to work. You want to make those cylinder walls, because when you vary your RPMs, you're varying the speed of your piston. And that's basically honing in your cylinder walls at different speed, not at the same speed. That's why idling is bad for your bike. When you have a new motorcycle, you don't want to, or engine, you don't want to idle as little as possible. You want to vary those RPMs, so it's kind of like you're smoothing out those cylinder walls. If you're on a freeway and you don't have an option to do a parking lot, or you're not driving through town, which is one of the better ways of doing things, is going through town too, is to get on the freeway, roll on gas like I am right here, and then you're just going to roll off gas. No brake, don't use the brakes, just let the engine braking kick in, and the engine braking is going to take some of the exhaust out of the cylinders and clean it out too, and that'll help seal your rings a little better. So if you're on the freeway, this is definitely a good method of breaking in your engine and giving the variables speed, right? You want to make your engine work. Back roads is good too. Leave it in fourth gear and just roll on, roll off. Don't try to use brake at all. This is actually two type of methods here. One, it's good for you as a rider to teach you don't always have to brake, and also help you roll on and throttle control. And this drill does a lot of things. So it's not just good for breaking an engine, but it's also good for you as a motorcycle rider. And this is like one of my preferred methods of breaking in an engine, is to hit a back road and just let it go. So this is on my Vulcan. The Vulcan has a Ninja 650 engine, so I wasn't going to baby it like I babied the Harley Davidson, because I know it's stout and it's designed to rev, and it's not going to catastrophically blow itself up. So I wasn't worried about it. That's why you see me at a higher redline on the Vulcan, because I know the Vulcan has a Ninja 650 engine and it's a good engine. But here's another way I like to do it, and like I said, it's good for you as a rider, it's good for your bike, and allows you to vary your RPMs and go up the range a little bit, and really learn your fourth gear too, because fourth gear is probably one of the best gears for back road riding. It's not too tall and it's not too short, and allows you to go into a certain amount of speed and have enough fun without overthinking it. And especially for you new riders out there, if you're riding a lot, fourth shifting gears, like what gear to be in and what gear that can be mentally taxing. So leaving it in fourth gear to cruise is a good way. So the goal of breaking in an engine is to make sure that all the moving parts start becoming friends. When your engine is brand new, everything is tight, and your engine needs to have those clearances have to be made. And engines don't be broken, they're not broken in from factory. Even if they dyno them, they just try to see if the horsepower, what the engine can do. So you as the consumer, it's your job to break in the engine the way it needs to be broken in. And some people don't do the oil changes on a regular basis. Some people don't do what they need to do. I mean, you can follow the recommendations from the manufacturer, and they do that for a basic guideline so that people don't mess up their engines. Every bike I own, I break in a little bit different depending on what I want to do with the bike. So for example, the Ninja 400 was going to be a track bike, so I pushed it to redline a lot quicker. I didn't keep it at redline. I got it to redline and kissed it and brought it back down and varied the RPMs that way. But the goal of the bike was to be on a track, and I wanted to prepare it for its life it was going to have, because it was going to be a street / track bike. And that didn't work out, and I ended up trading the Ninja 400 in. But it doesn't change the fact, though, that every motorcycle I have, whether it was the Harley, the Vulcan, the Suzuki D 800 V-Strom 800 DE, like every bike has its own purpose. So like for the V-Strom Suzuki 800 DE, I don't go to redline very often. I'm only in the midway through the revs, because this bike's not going to live at redline. It's not going to be a race bike. It makes torque low end. It's going to be an adventure bike, a dirt bike, off-road, and it'll probably get to redline on an occasion, but it's not something I'm not going to just smash through all the gears and trying to drag race Teslas, and it's not something I'm going to do with it. It's a different type of bike. So because of that, I'm not trying to go out there and really beat the piss out of it. I'm just trying to give it a good normal break-in, get it through the ranges, vary the RPMs like I said earlier, and to really let those new engine components become friends. And that's the goal of any type of break-in. And if you do it successfully, you'll have a strong motor for a long time. If it's not done successfully, that means that your cylinder walls won't be honed properly. You'll have a little bit of a gap. You'll have places where the piston rings will get stuck because they weren't broken in all the way. It's just not the way you want to do it. And right now with the Suzuki, my new bike only has 400 miles on it. I'll be doing an oil change at 600 miles. I'll make a more in-depth video on that why. But the oil right now, and it's conventional oil, and eventually I'll be changing out the oil again. But like I said, that'll be another video coming up soon. Here's a fun way of breaking in a motor, the back roads. So enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.